crafty friends, welcome to another Mojo May 2025 video. Today we're going to be using a DIY flick book to choose our card making prompts. So I've got here a pad of post-it notes and I've written 5 card making prompts on each note. On the first line I've put an ink pad colour, so I went through my Distress Oxides and put one colour name on each post-it, and then I went through my Catherine Polar inks and did the same thing. So the first line on here is an ink pad colour. Next I did some design ideas, so things like 3 rows, 3 columns, clean and simple, rule of thirds, middle of the line. And I've also thrown in some kind of DIY things like make a DIY embossing folder, 1 layer card, hexagonal design, that kind of thing. Next I went through all my dies and wrote down a type of die on each. So I've got bows here, doily dies, bookmark dies, postage stamp dies. There's a different die on each one. Then I added some techniques: blending, layering, framing, spreading, stickering, splattering. And then down the bottom I put a different type of stamp, so I went through my stamp collection and I've got rubber stamps small, rubber stamps leaves, rubber stamps matte, mixed media stamps, grids and ginghams. So there's loads of different prompts in there, and I can use this like a flick book. So I can just flick through, stop at a random place and use all the prompts together if I want, or I could pick a prompt. So we'll use pink champagne, and then I could flick again and go, I'm going to make a card that is shaped, i.e. not a rectangle or a square, so maybe a heart-shaped card. Then another flick, and the next one down is takeaway cups. So I could use my takeaway cup dies on a heart-shaped card using, what was it, pink champagne. And then I could just carry on doing that until I've got enough prompts to get me going, to get me thinking, to give me ideas. So I haven't done a handout for this because it's very specific to me. These are ink colours that I have, dies that I have, stamps that I have, etc. But you can make one yourself. Just grab yourself a post-it pad and a pen, go through your supplies and write 3, 4, 5 prompts on each one. And then you can just flip. What you could do is, when you've used a prompt, cross it off, or you can just keep this going forever. If you do cross it off, when you've crossed off a whole post-it, you can just take that post-it out of the pile and put it in the bin. Whatever works for you. I don't think I'm going to cross anything off. I'm just going to keep this to hand, and if I'm feeling a little uninspired, I'll just pick it up, flick through, pick a colour, pick a die, pick a stamp, pick a technique, pick a design idea, and make a card. And that's what I'm going to do now. So I've got a bit of scrap paper here. I'm going to close my eyes and just flick until I feel like stopping. So we've got a colour is Wild Honey. I can obviously use more than one colour if I want. Wild Honey may be my main colour for the card. Here we have got Shape Stamp. So that could be hearts, stars, rectangles, what have you. Now for the third prompt. Stitched Squares. So that was in the die row under the die category, but I don't have to just stick to dies if I want. If I fancy, I could use stitched square stamps. Framing, this is all shaping up quite nicely. Floral Stamps number 9. So this is my floral stamps folder and I've got them in pockets. So number 9 is 1, 2, 7, 8, 9. So that's floral stamps and number 9. So we could use that. So I'm already getting an idea. I think I'm going to do a DIY background paper, and I'm going to heat emboss maybe in white and do a emboss resist with Wild Honey. Now where's my Wild Honey? There it is. So Wild Honey is quite a strong yellow, or an orange yellow. I could mix it with maybe some spice marmalade, which is an orange, or abandoned coral. I think those two look nice together. So I'm having an idea about the shape stamp. I'm thinking of stamping with my colours on an acrylic block or some stamping foam over some white embossing, which I do with stamps in a kind of emboss resist. Okay, let's have a look through this little pack here. These are all quite fiddly images. Maybe that one. I could just repeat stamp this little cluster of roses on this piece of white paper using either clear, or actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to do it in clear because it's very fine and fiddly and I've got some fine clear embossing powder. So stamp on a stamp block. I'm going to dust this with talcum powder to remove any static, any moisture, any greasy fingerprints. I've got my embossing ink here. And I'm going to start in the middle and just go around this. Now I'm going to cover it in this ultra fine. This is Clear Gloss Superfine from WOW. I got this recently because I'm running low on clear embossing powder and I thought I may as well get the Superfine because then I can get it to work on detail stamps really well. So now I'm going to heat this with my heat tool. So that's melted, cooled and set. I think there must have been a bit of residual ink on my stamp because it's looking a little bit purple. But that's okay, by the time we get the colour on it you'll never know. So that's my floral stamps, and this is my idea for the shape stamp. I'm going to put some abandoned coral on this stamping foam and some wild honey. Grab a blending brush just to blend that across and get rid of any really harsh lines. Then I'm going to give it a really good dousing with water. Stamp on here. We'll start the edge. Actually no, we'll go on the middle to start with. Okay, that worked. Let's pop a bit more water on there because there's still lots of ink. So I'll give this a dry with my hairdryer. And I'll take some dry paper towel and just brush over it now it's dry to get some ink off of the stamping. And I'm going to do some spattering. I put a bit of wild honey there and I'm going to turn that into a paint by squirting it with some white shimmer spray. And now that, when it dries, will be shimmery. So I'll just add that on top. And I'll smush that up with a bit of scrap paper so it doesn't go to waste. So hopefully you can see there's a bit of shimmer and shine there. So we've got wild honey, shape stamp, floral stamps. So it's the framing and the stitch squares now. So I'm wondering about maybe cutting out 3 of these small stitch squares, or I've got these frames. Just cut one out of the middle there and see how we get on. Yeah, let's do that on there. Right, I've cut myself 3 small stitch squares. That could go on one card. And now I've got a larger square with a frame that can go around the outside. So what I'd like to do is stick this on the front of this square card, but before I do that I want to emboss this stitched frame die onto the front. Take a bit of low-tack tape and hold that in place like that. I'll put this in the embossing configuration. Pop that on there like that and run that through my cuttle bag. So this hopefully will come off without a problem. And there we have, it hasn't cut through, it's just pressed the pattern there. And then we've got this one which will go there, and I'm going to put that flat on the card. Just going to put some glue on my mat take that into the glue so I get just the right amount of glue on the back. And I want, is it that way up or that way up? I think that way up. Now to get this in the right place, I'm going to put that back in there and nudge that around. Get a bit of greaseproof paper and press it down, that way I shouldn't get any mucky fingerprints on my card. And then this I'm going to pop up on a bit of foam tape, and that can go in there like that. So we've got pattern and texture and different levels, and all it needs now is a sentiment. Now for my little squares. So I'm thinking I'm going to put these on the right hand side of the card. Just add a little bit of glue to the back. Put the middle one down first, because if we get that in the right place, the others will be in the right place. So for my sentiment, I've chosen a Julie Hickey foilable, I think it's called. You can foil these, I'm just going to keep it black. And I've put some foam tape on the back. And that can go at a bit of a jaunty angle like that, I think. On this one, I've got a smaller version. I think that will sit quite nicely there. It could go in the middle. Go down there. Could go off to the side. I think I like it off to the side and you've got this whole flower visible. And I'm not going to put foam on that, I'm just going to put glue because I don't want to add another layer of foam. And that can go at an angle too. I think it works with that particular font. I'm going to leave this one as it is. I don't think it needs anything else, but on this one I want to put some Gold Coast glitter Nouveau drops. Just add a bit of dimension, a bit of extra gloss, a little bit of extra glitter, 3 on each square. This will dry completely clear apart from the gold glitter inside. And there you go, 2 cards made using prompts from my little post-it book. Sometimes it falls apart a bit, but that's okay, it's still sticky. You can stick it back together. You can even reorder it. You can take a front half and stick it on the back half if you take the bit off. So if you want to shake things up a bit, reorder your post-it pad. So I hope you find this idea helpful, and I hope you've enjoyed watching the cards come together. If either of those things are true, then do let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and I'll see you back here very soon for another Mojo May video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.